Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back, and I hope you guys are doing fantastic out there. In this video today, we have another offering from Nitecore that I think you guys are really going to like for your EDC carry type flashlights. Now, this is one of those lights that has laser, it's got ultraviolet light, and it also has white light with multiple modes of operation. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the Nitecore EDC17. Let's get it on the bench and open this thing up. I'm so excited for this one. It's super cool. So here is a look at the front of the package. You can see it says 3 light sources, ultra slim EDC flashlight. It has a maximum brightness of 1500 lumens. It does produce 230 meters of throw. It does have a UHI 25 LED, and it has 1350 milliwatt max of the UV light and the low setting of 375, and it also has a green laser. Now right here on the side of the package you can see 1500 lumens max output. That's with the white light, 12,400 candela, 230 meters of throw, distance of impact 2 meters, and it's IPX7 waterproof, meaning this light can go underwater. On the other side of the package you can see it has a 1500 milliamp hour capacity lithium ion battery. It does come with a USB-C charging cable and a lanyard, and then of course on the back of the package you can see there's a diagram kind of giving you some information about the light, and of course there is some contact information right there for Nitecore if you wanted to reach out to them. Without further ado, let's go ahead and open this package up. I'm so excited about this one. I want to say thank you to Nitecore for sending this light out for review. When you open this up, you can pull this out like a drawer. There's nothing left in the box. The packaging looks very nice. You do get the user manual and you get the safety warning information. You do have a couple things here. There is a plate that can replace the glass breaker. I'll talk about that here in a minute. You do get a lanyard, so very cool. You get a USB-A to USB-C charging cable also included. Here is a Nitecore card that will take you to their Facebook page, so you can join them there, and it's also a warranty card. And then of course you have an EDC ready for anything sticker. Very nice that they include all of that stuff with the light. Let's go ahead and open this manual real quick before we get into the light itself. So we're going to go through this fairly quickly. Feel free to pause your screen if you want to read any of this a little bit longer. Here's a little detail of the features of the light. Very cool. And then right here is some technical data of the light, run times and things like that. How to install the lanyard. There's some specifications, accessories. Gives you some information on how to change that out from the glass breaker to the standard thing. Here's the charging function. I know I'm running through this fairly quickly, and that's because I'm going to be talking about all of this in the video today. So that's about all I have for you right now with the user manual. And without any more delay, let's go ahead and get this light out. I'm so excited about this one. This is a beautiful looking flashlight. So remember I showed you earlier there was a screw and this little piece here. What that is that's this screw right here, and you can see the little zirconium bead right there. That is a glass breaker. So if you don't want the glass breaker, you can take this screw out and put this regular piece in. This one does not have the glass breaker on it. But I think that is just fantastic. We might as well just leave that on. Now this thing is thin, it's not too heavy. It feels fantastic. There's a little protective covering right here. Now I do want to tell you that this lens is made out of glass. So you have the white light LED, the ultraviolet light, and then the laser right there in the middle. You do have a pocket clip that's still, I do wish that they would have made this a dual direction pocket clip. Here is the USB-C charging port. It's kind of a rubber coated little piece of hard plastic or something. So it's very nice, and to charge this light, it's extremely simple. We'll just take our USB-C charging cable and we'll plug this in, and what you're going to see is you're going to see these things bouncing around, and we'll just let this charge until all 4 of those indicators are solid. And as you can see here, we have 4 solid power level indicators. This is telling us that charging is complete. So at this point we can disconnect the USB-C cable, and we'll just go ahead and pack this port back in place, this port cover. Now I gotta say that even though this is like a rubber, it's like rubber on the bottom and hard plastic on the top, I really like what they did here. This goes into place very easily compared to some other lights that are just like a rubber flap. This has like a hard thing on the top, and it makes it easy to just stuff it in there. So I give them a big thumbs up on that. They did a good job on that. Now let's go ahead and talk about operating this light. It is extremely simple. We have a sliding switch here, and we have a push button mode switch here. Now if we push the mode switch, you can see that the laser comes on. That's fantastic. That gives us a 5 milliwatt laser, and that laser is momentary, so when you let up off that button, the laser turns off. This will last for 72 hours of runtime, and that gives us 3 days of runtime. That is absolutely fantastic. Now if we take and slide this button up, you can see that the light will come on to low. This is 50 lumens, and on this setting it'll last 16 hours. It puts out 45 meters of throw and a total of 480 candela. If you want to go to medium, you just slide it up one more spot. You'll get 220 lumens for 3.5 hours. This is medium, 95 meters of throw and 2,230 on the candela. Now if I slide it up one more time, we get to the brightest setting of high, which is 1,500 lumens. This will last an hour and 45 minutes, putting out 230 meters of throw and 12,400 on the candela. Now as you can see, it stepped down, but the light is still on. Now if I want to turn the light down to a dimmer setting, I can come back to that bright 1,500 lumens. That is just absolutely fantastic. So we can come all the way down to the lower settings and then eventually off to where the light is locked out. Now another thing that I want to tell you before we get into other modes is there is a hidden ultra low mode. Now to access the ultra low mode, we need to push the mode button and slide the slider up one slot. You can see now that we have ultra low, which is 1 lumen. This will last 260 hours of runtime. That is 10.83 days. It puts out 8 meters of throw and a total of 16 candela. Slide the switch up, it doesn't do anything. Now as we bring the slide switch down, you can see it does nothing. It stays in that ultra low mode, and when we get to the lock, it will turn the light off, and now the light is locked out. So it's very cool to access that hidden ultra low mode. So again, if we want white light, it's just low, medium, high, back down to medium, back down to low, back to lockout. So that is just fantastic. Now let me show you how to get to ultraviolet light. and to get to the laser where we can keep the laser on. So you saw that I turned the light on. Now if I have the light on and I come up to the mode switch, I will cycle through the modes, and you can see that the laser stays on. The laser does not get any brighter or anything like that. We just get one laser beam and that's it. But if I push the mode switch again, you can see we have ultraviolet light. We have a low ultraviolet light that operates at 220 milliwatts. This will last 13 hours of runtime. If I push it up to middle, you can see I get a medium, 650 milliwatts for 5 hours. And then if I really want to look hard to find things, slide it up to the high setting, 1350 milliwatts. This will last 2 hours of runtime. That is absolutely fantastic. If I want to turn it back down, I can, and then eventually I can turn the light off. Now the light does have a memory, so it'll remember the last mode of operation that you were in, whether it was white light, UV light, or laser. So since we just got done using ultraviolet light, when I turn this on, look at that, it goes right back to ultraviolet light. It's very easy to operate, but let's say we switch on over to laser. Again, I can't repeat myself enough here. Laser, you only get one laser, but let's say we just go ahead and turn this off. When we turn the light back on, look at that, it remembers the laser. Now when we're finished with the laser, we'll just push the button off. And again, it will remember that it was on laser last, and it'll come right back to that. Now, if we want to double press the mode switch from the laser, watch what happens. It goes to white light. That is very nice. And then again, the same thing applies. We can switch between whatever modes we want. But let's say, for example, we need the laser while the light is on. All we have to do is come up and push the mode button, and you can see that I have a laser in combination with the white light. So I can do that on low, I can do that on medium, there's the laser, or I could even do it on high. I'm going to back off a little bit so you can see that laser in there. Now that is just wonderful that it does that. If we push this and come up onto the ultra low mode, take a look. We can also add the laser in combination with ultra low in a momentary fashion. So when we're done, we just let off the button and the laser turns off. Now this light is impact resistant down to 2 meters, and it also carries an IPX7 waterproof rating. So this light can go underwater with no problems at all. The power level indicators are very simple. When you turn the light on, you can see it's basically 25, 50, 75, and 100%. So if you have a single light and it's flashing, that's telling us that our battery is below 10%. If that single light is solid, we're between 10 and 25%. If we have two little green lights, we're between 25 and 50%. If we have three, we're between 50 and 75%. And then if we have all four, like you see here, we're somewhere between 75 and 100%. So I really like the power level indicator. That is very nice. The dimensions of this light, it is 4.84 inches or 123 millimeters. The width of the light is 1.26 inches or 32 millimeters. The height of the light, it does give us two different heights. One of them is with the pocket clip and the other will be without the pocket clip. So with the pocket clip, it's 20 millimeters or 0.79 inches, and without the pocket clip, it's 16 millimeters. The weight of this light is 3.74 ounces or 106 grams, so not very heavy. As you can see here, we're introducing some water. We'll go ahead and drop the light in the water. We're going to test the IPX7 waterproof rating. We'll even push the mode switch and get that laser on. You can see the laser's on. Let's slide the thing up. There's medium, there's high. That's pretty cool. Now we'll pull it out of the water and I'll just kind of shake the light briefly to get the water out. Now let's take a look. Let's go ahead and see if we can get to ultra low. There it is. Let's go to low. There's medium, and there's high. That is fantastic. We want to add laser. We can do that as well momentarily, and that's cool. Now, when the light is on, we can push the mode button, switch to laser, or switch to ultraviolet light. There's low, there's medium, and there's high. This is just a very nice light, and as you can see, the memory brings us back to ultraviolet light. So I like using the light for a light, so I'll leave it on white. That way when I turn it off and come back on, it comes right back to white light. So as you can see, this light clearly passed the IPX7 waterproof testing with flying colors. This is a nice light. Now, when you look at lights like this that have 3 different things that they do, like white light, ultraviolet light, and laser, as I showed in this video, you can combine the white light with the laser. However, you cannot combine the laser with the ultraviolet light. Some lights that have ultraviolet light will allow you to present the laser with the ultraviolet light. That's a good setting, because if you're finding scorpions or centipedes, you can use the laser, and I'll just show you. We'll go to ultraviolet light here, and if I push the mode, look at that. I push the mode switch and it does not deploy the laser. That's unfortunate. When I double pressed, it gave me the white light. And then that is just crazy. I wish that it would let me use the laser when I'm on ultraviolet light. I'm pushing and holding and it's doing absolutely nothing. So I just want you guys to know that yes, it will do white light with laser, but it will not do ultraviolet light with laser. Okay, right now we are looking at the Nitecore EDC17. We are on the economy mode. This is 1 lumen for 260 hours. Folks, that is 10.83 days. It gives us 8 meters of throw and 16 on the candela. Now we're looking at low. This is 50 lumens for 16 hours. 45 meters of throw. That is fantastic. Let's bump it up to medium. There's 220 lumens for 3.5 hours. That's really nice. 95 meters of throw. I like the beam pattern. And if we bump it up to high, we get 1500 lumens for 1 hour and 45 minutes, putting out 230 meters of throw. Now there's no strobe on this light, but if I want to include the laser with the white light, I can. So looking in the middle, you can see it step down due to the heat. I have the laser turned on as well. So that is fantastic. I have white light plus laser. If I want to switch through the modes, I can go back to, let's say, low, for example, push the side switch, go to the laser, and I have 1 laser, 5 Newton meters. That'll last for 72 hours. That is 3 days of runtime. If I push the mode button again, we just entered ultraviolet light. That is excellent for looking for snakes and spiders and centipedes. This is an excellent setting for looking for scorpions, looking for centipedes, bugs and stuff like that. If you're looking at money to try to make sure that you're not being passed counterfeit bills, or maybe you're going to the motel and you want to see how clean the bedding is and stuff like that, you can use this. Now on this setting, you get 220 milliwatts of power, 13 hours of runtime. You're looking at the back of my clipboard here. That is fantastic. Move it up 1, you go to the medium setting, 650 milliwatts. On this setting, you get 5 hours of runtime. And then if we go to the highest setting of ultraviolet light, 1350 milliwatts for 2 hours of runtime. That is wonderful. I'm looking down at the ground with it and I can see everything. I don't know, I just backed it down to medium and then backing it down to low. So there's low, there's medium, and there's high. That is wonderful. And you can't get a laser in combination with the UV light. but hopefully you enjoyed that. If I push the mode switch, it goes back to white light, and again, we can add the laser to that. That is just wonderful. All the way down in the distance, we can add the laser. That's cool for when you're wanting to point things out and say, hey, look over there. There it is right there. You can point things out, and then it's all momentary. The laser is. That is just wonderful. I like that, and hopefully you enjoyed those night shots out of this amazing Nitecore EDC17. Well, folks, that's about all I have for you today with this light by Nitecore. This is EDC17. This is a fantastic light. There's a couple things that I want to point out. One is the glass breaker. I think that is a fantastic thing to add to a little EDC light like this. If you're a paramedic or a first responder, maybe you're a police officer, military, security guard, anything like that, firefighters, and you need to break glass, the ability to do that on board gets a big thumbs up from me. However, having the glass breaker takes away two other things that a lot of people like. One of them is it has no ability to tail stand. I can't use it as a night light unless I set it on its side or something like this. It will not tail stand. The other thing that it takes away by having the glass breaker is there is no magnet here. So if your car breaks down, you can't stick this to the hood of the car and look at the engine. So you really have to decide which light do you want. This thing works absolutely fantastic. The biggest thing that I could say that I wish they would improve on is allow the ultraviolet light to run with us having the ability to access the laser at the same time. That would be really, really cool. So if you're interested in this light, I'll put a link down below in the description box down below. I want to say thank you guys for watching me on this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to leave your comments down below and let me know what your thoughts are on this. Now, even though I had a couple things that I said that weren't wonderful things, that does not take away anything from this light. This is a fantastic light, and it has its purpose. When they added the glass breaker, that is something that a lot of the other lights that I've reviewed does not have. So it's kind of like picking what you really need. To have that on an EDC light is fantastic. It also has that super low, ultra low mode. That is awesome. The thing is bright. As you could see in the beam patterns, it was wonderful. So again, folks, with all that being said, folks, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a beautiful day. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.